What's up, everybody? This is Brad, and we got some more Zelda to look at today. Got a little gameplay demonstration going on. So, this is pretty exciting. It's about, what does it say? About almost 14 minutes worth. Let's see if there's anything interesting in this. This is probably going to be the last big thing for Tears of the Kingdom before the actual release. So, let's check it out.
Hello everyone, I'm Eiji Aonuma, producer of the Legend of Zelda series. First, I have some news. Development on The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom is now complete. Thank you very much.
Finished game!
Many of you are looking forward to this game, and we've released a few trailers.
I'm guessing that means DLC too.
Although it'll
Because
just
it's
be a brief
probably
glimpse,
going to be
I'm going
DLC.
to actually play the game for you all today and show you what it's like. Okay? Let's begin. Here we are in the land of Hyrule.
Remember those Smash demonstrations where Sakurai would sit there and play against himself?
There's a vast world to explore. Of course, it's not just the same world as is. It's changed in many ways.
Yeah.
If we talk about all of the changes today, we'll run out of time, so we hope you'll seek them out for yourself when the game launches.
So
In
Hyrule,
this game, the vast world of Hyrule
it's the same Hyrule,
reaches high into the sky.
but they've added a
You'll
lot
notice some
to it.
landmasses floating up there. We call them Sky Islands.
Probably inspired from Skyward
You're
Sword.
probably wondering something. How do you get to the Sky Islands when they're so high up? If we take a look, oh, something's falling from the sky. Do you see it? I wonder what that is. Let's head over to it.
It conveniently
We're
falls
almost at
right
the
in front of
spot where
us.
The object fell. Here it is. Okay, let's use one of Link's new abilities. If you do this on the rock that just fell,
Look at Link's clothes.
look, it started rising. This
Looks like a
power is known as
caveman.
recall, which rewinds an object's movement. Since I just used recall on the fallen rock, I can now rise into the sky. We're a lot closer to the Sky Islands.
Well, that's a
Let's use the
massive
paraglider to
island up
reach
there.
them. There are a few other Sky Islands floating here too.
Storm cloud in the
We
background.
made it. There are lots of ways to reach the Sky Islands.
Whoa,
so
dragon.
You'll try a few different
The
methods.
dragons are back.
Okay. Now we're on a
Hopefully
slightly
they
bigger
have
Sky
more
Island.
involvement in the story than
Just
just
like on
being,
the surface,
you know, just kind of
there are
floating
several
around out
man-made
there.
structures. Some trees are also growing here. You won't
Oops.
see many of those yellow trees on the surface, though. Let's walk around for a bit. There's a branch on the ground. When you find something like this, you should pick it up. It might come in handy later. Let's continue. Oh, something's there. This is a
What
brand
the-
new enemy called a construct. We'll fight it using the branch we just picked up.
The robot is fighting us with a
The
twig.
branch broke. Not good, not good. Quick, get another branch and we defeated it. Moving on.
Breath of the Wild was really hurting for variety of enemies.
As expected, fighting with just a branch.
I'm
won't
glad to
get
see that they added some more. They had to.
Also, this branch is almost broken. So here's another one of Link's new abilities. If we use this branch and the rock over here, and do this, look, we can stick them together. We created a makeshift hammer. This is called fuse. You can stick objects together to create new weapons with various effects. Let's take on another construct with this fused weapon.
Well, that's interesting.
We're dealing with two of them at once.
Okay, it's stronger now.
The weapon's attack has definitely improved. The other branch broke, but this weapon has much better durability. You can do all sorts of things by experimenting with the fuse ability. You can fuse two weapons, for example, If we take this long stick and fuse it with a pitchfork, we can create a weapon with a much longer attack range.
Huh. That's
With
kind of
this,
cool.
We don't have to get too close to enemies.
It looks
and
really
we can
awkward,
safely
though.
attack from a distance.
Just put it on your back.
You can also fuse arrows with materials in your inventory. For instance, try fusing this leaf to an arrow. Fuse an ice elemental material to an arrow and you can
Ice
freeze
arrow?
faraway enemies.
Okay. On the fly ice arrows.
In addition, let's see. Ah, there's a bird flying around. If you're out hunting, you might feel that aiming.
That was a dragon in the background again.
Apparently, my eyes can't track fast-moving objects as of late, so my shots rarely land. So, at times like these, here's an eyeball you can get by defeating monsters. Fuse it to an arrow and... Look,
Okay.
it homed in on the target.
Okay.
Let's try this on another bird. I'll just fire in that general direction. It's very simple. Depending on what you stick together, the fuse ability could also be beneficial for hunting.
I wonder if there's more creatures to hunt, though.
Now, you're probably wondering if this has any use.
Yeah.
Well, this mushroom is actually a puff shroom. Let's fight an enemy with this. I blocked with the shield. Okay, there's smoke now. The enemy's lost sight of Link, so... attack! Even if you struggle with
Did that say
combat,
sneak
you can
strike?
take down enemies using similar methods. In the previous game, you'd usually get powerful weapons by defeating strong enemies. But in this game, fusing even the weakest weapon with something else could turn it into a useful weapon. There are even more gameplay options for sticking things together. Let me demonstrate. Some of the Sky Islands even have rivers. We'll want to cross this one, but swimming across it, well, the river's too wide for that. We need a boat. Of course, there isn't anything that resembles a boat around here. So, we'll lift up this log and attach it to a
So this is where the Banjo and Kazooie nuts and
Let's
bolts
do one more. We'll bring this
sort of
over
gimmick
here
comes into
and
play.
Attach a third log. It's a makeshift raft. This is another new ability called Ultra Hand. Even though the logs are currently attached, they can be detached. Let's modify the shape of the raft. You can always attach things or detach them like this. Now, if we put this on the water, it's made of wood, so the buoyancy will keep it afloat. We've made a simplified version of a boat. However, it won't move in its current state, so we'll need something to propel it forward.
Those things behind you. What are they, fans?
There's something here. Let's try hitting it. Oh, wind. It's blowing wind. Looks like we found a fan. Why don't we try attaching it? We'll attach another one. This should make the boat well balanced.
Okay. See, this is interesting. And it's kind of funny because it's making it seem like Breath of the Wild's gameplay was like super simple.
Hey, it's moving. It's sailing pretty fast with the wind from the fans. Since we added 2 fans, we should be able to cross the river in no time. All right, we reached the other side.
What was that?
In the most recent trailer, we showed scenes of Link riding a large car and a flying machine. Those vehicles actually aren't in the game from the start. Instead, you'll be able to freely craft them on your own. There are all sorts of objects you'll come across in this game. And depending on how you use your imagination, you can do a lot with them. So, try crafting different things and explore this
There are going to be
world.
people building Gundams in this game.
There are even more new abilities.
So the real question is going to be, what is the limit of this feature? Does it have a limit?
Look, I passed right through the ceiling. This new ability is called Ascend. If you're in a place with a ceiling, you can go through to the floor above you.
This is kind of funny because, like, putting together, like, game assets and phasing through walls are like old hack things that you could do in games where you would break the game to just explore, you know, the hidden stuff and see how the game works. This game has just turned that all into a feature.
Come on, keep going. Okay, we emerged at the top of the hill. In the previous game, you had to use stamina to climb a mountain. But in this game, if there's a mountain with a cave like this one, you can now get to the top without having to climb all the way up. Here's another example. Imagine you're stuck in a cage. If it's got a ceiling, you know what to do, right? Exactly. Oh, there's another construct. It seems to be holding a strange weapon. Some enemies are equipped with fused weapons, so they play out a bit differently from the previous game.
It's got a door.
Ah, it blew me away with wind. Looks like it's got some sort of fan.
Yeah, made out of a door.
Ah, I got pushed off. Oh well, let's just return to the surface.
Okay, he gave up.
Descend from the sky to the surface like this.
Look at that emblem on the ground.
In the sky, you'll be able to look out across the land.
What was up with Death Mountain?
You can also search for destinations that pique your interest. Once you've chosen your destination, you can speed things up, like this.
Where are we dropping?
Dive into this river. And we're back on the surface.
Right at Tilted Towers.
There are still so many things I'd like to show you, but let's leave it at that for now. What did you think? Some of Link's new abilities were updated from the previous game. I'm sure some of you watching me play were thinking, wait, if you could do that, then maybe you could do this too.
That's what I
said. In this
said.
game, you can do a lot of things just by thinking about what's even possible. There's still a lot of new gameplay, mysteries, and encounters we couldn't show today, but they're all jam-packed into this unfamiliar Hyrule, and we hope you'll use your imagination to explore it. That's all for today. Thank you for watching.
All right. So they didn't show off a whole lot of stuff, but they're kind of leaving it to your imagination as to what you'll be able to do. So let's go back and look specifically. It looks like Hyrule itself will be the base, what's the word I'm looking for here? The map is just carried over directly from Breath of the Wild, but they've clearly added a lot more stuff to it. So even if you have Hyrule from Breath of the Wild memorized, if you know where everything is, there's going to be stuff here changed, and there's going to be stuff added. So the Sky Islands are going to be interesting. And it looks like it won't be that hard to get up and down, so... Now, I'm not going to try to get it anymore. Wait, hold on. Maybe I can. Where is it? There it is. The dragons are back. I was wondering what they're doing, but they can get really high up in the sky, so... There's another shot where you can see one of them even higher than the Sky Islands. Is that it? I hope that they have more involvement in the story. Like, I don't know, like you purify one, and there's part of like a side quest where one of the others is involved, but like other than them being cool to look at and see and come across in-game in Breath of the Wild, they don't really do anything. So I hope that there actually will be a reason for them to be in this game. Link's clothes are interesting. I'm assuming this is some kind of base outfit for him, because he looks kind of rough. The item fusion thing is going to be interesting, because it seems to suggest that every item in the game can be fused, and that they'll all have certain abilities based on which ones you fused. So like even monster parts, like if you fuse a piece of meat to your shield, what will that do? Because it seems like everything will have some effect. I'm glad that we're seeing more enemies. We hadn't seen that construct before. And again, I wonder, the whole building thing here, the question is, what's the limitation? Is there a limitation? Could you potentially build a robot and pilot it if you wanted to in this game, if you took the time to do it? We'll have to see. I mean, this looks like a fairly complex contraption here. It's like Link has built himself a little go-kart here to ride around. And this is a good shot here, too. You can look at what's happening with Death Mountain in the background. Something is spewing out of Death Mountain. It looks like just a giant, just like a gigantic amount of malice. So that's going to be interesting. More ways to this ascend ability, more ways to get out of a place quickly. Getting up and down is pretty fast. There's an interesting mark on the ground over here. And once this game comes out, I said this in my Breath of the Wild playthrough, which will probably be... That particular part of my playthrough probably won't be out until way after this game is released. But I guess I could say it here, you'll hear it sooner. But once this game is released, it's going to be interesting for people to go back into Breath of the Wild and see where they were teasing this game. Certain things that were placed in Breath of the Wild that will become relevant. They had no real purpose or anything. Maybe something was just decoration in that game, but actually it was teasing for something for this game. So that's going to be interesting to see all the comparisons, all of the clues that we had beforehand that will now come into play for I guess this should be the final part of this story. Because this is a trilogy game, if you want to look at it. If you want to include the Hyrule Warriors, what was the game? Age of Calamity. If you want to include that, and how the game is telling us this whole gigantic story of the rise of the Calamity. And Breath of the Wild was pretty much just throwing us into the middle of the story. And we were supposed to put together the pieces as we play. Age of Calamity is the beginning of the story, or the beginning of the modern part of the story. I feel like this game being the end of the story is going to have a lot to do with the earliest part of the story, which is the war from 10,000 years ago when Calamity Ganon first arrived. I really do feel like that original battle with Ganon is a major part of this story overall, and why it's so heavily referenced in Breath of the Wild. Is we are going to be finishing. I think that this story is really that original war with Ganon was never actually over. The Calamity Ganon was never truly defeated. And this is where we're going to actually end the Calamity. So, I still think my theory I still think I have a strong feeling that my theory could still be valid, that back 10,000 years ago in this game, they tried to seal Ganon away in a state between life and death so that Ganon could no longer reincarnate, because if he's not dead, he can't come back. But if he's sealed away, he's still alive, but he's, permanently out of commission. this, this eternal evil can't keep reincarnating itself if it's not dead, but it's not a threat if it's not alive either. So they tried to find some way to get around the curse of the reincarnation. So I like that theory. I like it a lot, and I'm hoping that this is why Ganondorf was sealed away, and I guess probably 10,000 years ago, and they never realized it, and why the calamity returned 10,000 years later in the same, in what appears to be the same form it was previously. Well, he didn't have to reincarnate himself. He just waited and found the right time to return, and decided instead to take the form of some sort of weird amalgamate, like just weird, like part guardian form. I guess that was the best he thought he could do at the time. I don't know. Anyway, I really like that idea. This game is looking pretty interesting, and luckily it does not appear that while it does, a lot of the locations, the Hyrule map itself probably won't be changed much, but they've added enough. There's the dragon shot again. Look how high it is too. Anyway, it looks like there's plenty of sky islands to look around. And again, I feel like this clearly some Skyward Sword inspiration here. Maybe this is why Skyward Sword got ported to the Switch. Maybe since this game is supposed to be the latest in the entire Zelda timeline, whereas Skyward Sword is the very beginning. So it's going to be interesting to see them wanting to take direct influence between those and having the earliest Zelda story influencing the latest Zelda story. So that'll be interesting to see. I'm really excited to see those comparisons once the game's released. But anyway, what do you guys think about this? Are you excited for Tears of the Kingdom? Let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. Like and subscribe and all that good stuff I know you love to hear every time any YouTuber says it. And we'll check out more Tears of the Kingdom at some point. And I hope that you'll watch my Breath of the Wild playthrough as it's slowly being uploaded. Anyway, that's all I got for you. I'm out of here.